Welcome back into another NBA DFS PrizePicks video. So we have two games on this Friday slate. It's going to be the Sixers versus Boston. And that's also going to be Denver versus Phoenix. And I think that late night game is going to be the one game that I like a little bit more, but let's go ahead and break down the first game. So the last two NBA videos that I put out have been impacted by injuries. Looney last night ended up having an illness and not playing a full allotment of minutes. That's interesting. So fingers are crossed that doesn't happen today. That's kind of the bad part about PrizePicks is that when news like that occurs, you can't withdraw your entry. Obviously, that changed the betting slip drastically. Looking at today's game, let's just hope it doesn't happen with Brogdon because it feels like the exact same play as Looney. And this literally just got bumped, but I still think it's fine. Interesting there. It was 21.5. Malcolm Brogdon he's just a good basketball player. And, I think he is their third best basketball player. And we can just see based off the game log, he's either been at this number or just a bucket shy of it against Atlanta. And he was able to get there last game while still only playing 24 minutes. And why did he only play 24 minutes? Because that game was a blowout. And so if we pull up that game again, we can see this game is expected to be a very close scoring game, 2.5 for the spread. So with that, I don't think we should be worrying about the blowout risk. And so if that occurs, I expect Malcolm Brogdon to get more minutes than that. And I just wanted to see the projected minutes. 28 is his projected minutes. So with that, and yeah, he's slightly projected under. I get that. I guess it just depends on the minutes. If he's only going to get 28, that's going to be tight. If he's going to get 30, 34, then it's not. Then it's going to be an easy hit. And that to me, that's the best prop that we're getting in that game in general. I don't expect Embiid to still be as bad as he has been, but is he going to hit? That's a big question. I don't exactly know. And so these other ones all seem a little bit too high as well. So let's go ahead and switch up and get into that next game. So with CP3 out, the biggest question is who's going to benefit. And the biggest issue that we have with that is the sample size is extremely small with Kevin Durant on the court. Like we literally only have like 30 minutes of game time, Chris Paul off the court and Kevin Durant on the for the rest of the squad, which is pretty crazy in itself, but obviously the trade was made mid. So just looking at it with Chris Paul off the court, and I don't exactly like that because, well, we have to take out Mikal Bridges off of that sample as well to maybe get a good indication of who we should. And so just looking at it, it would suggest that we should just be going in on campaign. And the biggest question is how many minutes is he going to play? If you look at his per 36 production with Chris Paul off the court, it's 20.8 points. Big difference there. 20.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 8 assists. The assist is kind of crazy there. And I think that'd be the prop that I would want to go on the most. But really, these all seem to be a little bit too low. And if you look at his game log, it's not going to be pretty, just as an FYI. But I think I like the assist ones the most. And let's go ahead and look at why. First, I want to call out just the minutes that CP3 has been getting. Obviously, he's been getting a ton of run. Getting a lot of assists as well. Averages 8.7 on the season. Now, if campaign comes in and does start for them and he's not going to get 36, 37 minutes like CP3 has been getting, but there have been games in which we have seen campaign get 20, 25-ish, and maybe gets a little bit more out of necessity tonight. We don't know if that's going to happen or not for sure, but he is someone on the season only gets 19.3 minutes, okay? And with that, he averages 9.8 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. So if he gets, 10 more minutes, 8 more minutes, 5 more minutes, then all of his props that we are getting today seem to be a little bit too low. And he would probably be the one player that I want to go on the most. And if we look at it, a lot of the data likes him because on the projections for his minutes is 28, which if that's accurate, yeah, he's going to go off and really just get the over for all of these. So if you think those minutes are actually going to be there that high, filling in for CP3, then yes, go in on some of these props. It's like they all should be solid. I typically like to do the collection of stats, like the points, rebounds, and assists, and that'd probably be the one I go with the most. But I kind of like all of them. Now, the biggest issue with that is that Devin Booker could also play a little bit of point guard tonight, and I kind of expect that to happen. And obviously, Devin Booker is playing a ton of minutes. And so if we look at Devin Booker's production with CP3 out the court and with Mikal Bridges I don't even know if I want to include that. That's the tough part because at least having Mikal Bridges in the sample helps a little bit with the KD stuff, like the KD usage. And so that's what makes it extremely different. So I'm actually taking that off for Book. Okay, so looking at his fantasy points scored per 36 with CP3 off the court, he averages 6.2 more per 36 for a total of about 47. Now, that's a pretty good number that we're getting for him today at 50.5 because his per 36 production is or 47. And so once again, his minutes have been extremely high. He hasn't been leaving the court. And so if that's going to occur, we are still going to see Devin Booker. We're getting some good numbers on him. Like his average points scored per 36 with CP3 off the court is 29.9. So basically right there, if he gets a few more minutes, that's great. Averages 5.7 rebounds. So once again, if he gets more minutes, that's awesome. 6.8 assists, probably not touching the assist prop. Averages 2 3-pointers made, so probably not touching that one, although that could be tight. The 3-point attempts, probably not touching that as well. It's only 6. And so really the best one that we were getting for him would just be probably the fantasy. But the biggest issue with that is obviously we have Kevin Durant. And so KD has only seen 49 minutes this season with CP3 off the court. So once again, not a big sample size going into. Now his per 36 production is crazy in that small sample size. He averages 43 points in that, 9.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 61 fantasy points per 36. But once again, that's only 49 minutes, 50 minutes going into that sample. So not a big, but I do want to point out something from the cheat sheet as well here. Vegas is suggesting that Kevin Durant is going to go off. Okay, so we look at his projected fantasy score of 51.5. Vegas thinks that he's going to go over. And they also are saying he's going to go over at 53.85. That's just taking in average sportsbook odds and putting that into a data point. Now, he's not projected to get over that, but once again, per 36 production with CP3 off the court, we can kind of factor that in there. It's a decent prop. And so the question is, how many Suns are too many Suns? Maybe this is a day in which we say, all right, 2 out of these 3 players that we're going to be on, Payne, Kevin Durant, as long as this game stays close like it's projected to, and as long as it's in the high scoring game like it's projected to be, then 2 out of those 3 should be able to hit. Now let's talk about running it back, because obviously CP3 is not going to be there. That makes me kind of like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is someone that had just been going off. Now in the last game, had a terrible day. 0 for 9 from 3-ball range. Good for him for, I guess, shooting still. That's crazy. But at the same time, that's a little bit encouraging, I guess, that he still kept shooting. And with CP3 off the court, you kind of expect him to have a little bit easier time scoring, whether that be Cameron Payne guarding him or Devin Booker. That was going to be Devin Booker. So in that regard, I don't mind some of the props that we were getting here. And I think I would want to go fantasy score because he has been getting there a decent amount. Now, this number's pretty high, but it would be a way in which we could run it back. I like the Phoenix Suns props a little bit more. Now, typically speaking, you're not exactly supposed to do flex bets, just like statistically speaking. Long-term wise, it's not going to pay off for you. Today, I don't mind it, just given the fact that I do think 2 out of the 3, not MPJ. What the heck? I need to cancel that one sec. So here we go. 2 out of the 3 here are going to hit. Knowing which 3 or 2, that's tough. You know, obviously basketball stuff happens. And I would say like these 2 don't really correlate that well. I mean, 50 fantasy points for each of them, and I get why they're both there. So I guess the best move would be to do one of them with Payne and hope that Payne does get a lot of minutes. And obviously with Payne, we're betting on them. But that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.